Hello everyone, welcome back to another video by eClip on my YouTube channel. So for this week I just decided to do a freestyle video. Basically I'm just gonna follow one of the previous videos where I made some track development. So I just want to, let's say, record what progress I made in this track. It's not much, but I think it will be really smart if I can go through some of the small things and small decisions that I made, and by showing you the whole process of making the decisions and building the track, I think it's the most powerful way for you to learn, or to at least to get some ideas of how can you improve your music as well. So first thing I did from the previous video, I had this kick in that video, but I decided to replace it with this one. The second thing I did, I made the bass line with Rapture in previous video, and it sounds, but this is now really important part. Even if this bass line sounds good enough, I won't keep it just like that, and I won't keep the bass line because it sounds good enough. I will always try to make 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 different bass lines, and then I will decide which one sounds the best. So I duplicated the whole processing chain with the MIDI, but instead of Rapture I added Serum with Basic Mini, and in Basic Mini I just reduced this one over here. It doesn't matter the whole process, this is not about the bassline, but I tried to make a bit better bassline with another, even if the one was sounding good enough. But if the one bassline sounds good enough with Rapture, doesn't need to mean that the same bassline in that key with the same processing will not sound better in Serum. So I tried it, and I think that from Serum sounds better. So I will just A/B those two. Although they are pretty similar, but when I play with the kick, I am more for the one with the Serum. So this is the second thing, and also probably in some of the next sections I will maybe make another bass line with a little bit changed processing, or with a different waveform or so on. So I won't be just keeping on one channel and working and trying to fix it. I will try 5, 6, 7 different bass lines in order to see which one fits the best for that track. This is one of the advices I give to you as well. So the next thing I did in this project is that all the drum stems are from my template essay, and this is usually how I start the track. And this template comes with the snare and the clap, and in this case the idea of the snare is just to provide the punch or the attack on the kick, and the clap, the purpose of the clap is to provide the body and a bit of a tail. So there is no attack on the clap, it's only there when you put the snare on top of it. So they are, I like to divide those two, because as right now I can decide, do I want to keep the body of it or I don't? Also maybe I want to replace this attack on that clap as well. So it gives me more ability to change and customize this template. So for this track, as I said in the previous video, I reduced the envelope of the bass line, and that way try to push it a little bit backwards, and that way to create a bit deeper track. And because of that, I don't think that this long clap is going really well with it. So I just want to try to keep this snare just as an attack. And because it sounds a bit thin only without the clap, I just added a lot of mids and a lot of lows, way of to make it a little bit bigger. I'll probably add some shorter clap later on, but also the punchy clap, not the longer extended one as this one over here that comes in the template. This is the second thing I did after the bass line and changing the kick. Actually, the third thing. And the fourth thing I did, this SA template comes with really short closed hi-hat that goes in the same position where is the open hat, and it's short with reason. I just want this hi-hat to give this transient punch of it. But for this track I added a little bit of reverb on it just to extend it a little bit and to make it a little bit longer. So with the reverb, I got this a little bit of this depth or in a track. This is the second thing. The third thing I did, but you cannot hear it because it's muted. I found this just by accident. I found this sample in some of my sample libraries and I really like how it sounds, this percussion. But actually it is a loop, it is not the sample, so it is a loop and large, yeah. So it is a loop, but I just chose one shot, and yeah, so I just kept that shot over here, and later on it will go something like this. So I just kept, this is the second thing. In previous I had this melody as well, yeah. Now we're coming to the main part of this video, as the track in this stage. The first stage was that imported the drum stems and to make a bass line and to work a little bit on the groove. So in that moment when I decide that the groove is good enough, I'm gonna start painting with some of the single shot sounds. And for me this is the most important part, and the part that I like the most is painting the whole track with the single shot sounds, as there is some really nice magic happening over there. And this is the moment where I extended, as you can see, from 8 bars to 64 bars loop, and making this loop over here. And my practice told me that I will always extend it to around 1 minute, and I will start giving those paints, let's say, inside the project. And when I have enough material for 1 minute to have a really interesting story with the single shot sounds, that will be the moment when I will start extending the track. Actually, I won't be extending this track and trying to start developing it in arrangement before I have enough of the single shots to create a really interesting story in a 1 minute. And why is that? Because when I start building arrangement, I want to have enough of those single shot sounds that I can just drop them in a way of track is floating. Okay, this, you know, like listening and trying to feel this track, this material that I created over here. And I believe this is the moment when track gives me the feeling, and this is the moment when the track will actually tell me what to do next, with adding the, let's say, kick and bass, and then the track is starting. So let's say like okay, it won't start for sure with the clap, but it will start with the kick and bass for sure. So I'm now starting to paint the track, actually to draw the arrangement and so on. So this is why it is really important to me that I have enough of the materials of the single shot sounds for 1 minute. So in the previous video, one of the previous videos, I'm not making a good mark of which video I'm talking about, I had only this sound and this arp. And there was ARP shot number 2, which is the same one, just a different chord, but I deleted that one as I didn't find it much interesting. So after that I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more sounds. And this is also just a halfway through, because some of those sounds will probably not stay in a track, but this I will do in one of the next sessions when I come to studio. I will probably add some more and so on. So I will spend at least for a week just designing those single shot sounds, as I think they are crucial for developing the tracks later on, as those are the sounds that will go the first and that will kind of inspire me and give me the directions of what I'm going to do next. So as you can see, I have a distorted sounds, and I usually when it comes to the first kick in the bass, I like to have some distorted sound over here, and I have plenty of different ones, but I will just play all of them together for you. And this one I will make a small arrangement change, so it's gonna be kicking the bass dry till here, and then they're gonna start with the snare and the clap all together with the single shot sounds. Now I already know, and this is the main reason why am I recording this video, is to show you my way of how to position all of those sounds. So I played, there's a distorted sound over here. I realized that there's a melodic single shot over here, and then there is another one melodic just 4 bars after it. So I don't want them to be close to each other. I just think it's much smarter and much better sounding track if I after one single shot sounds that the next one and the next one are not gonna be the same. So I'm just gonna switch the places of those two, and maybe I'm gonna move this one later on, but still every time I make the switch or the change, I'm rewinding a track on the beginning of the loop, and I'm listening, and all the decisions are just I'm gonna make by listening. So I think it's really important, if you're making a progressive music, the music that has some progress, that you listen it from the beginning always, and that you try to listen it, not watch or try to do so many crazy things. Make a decision by listening only. Usually I do it just by pressing the space, and I just go a little bit backwards, just so that I'm not able to touch anything, you know? And this helps me also a lot. It just came to me, I know that this sound is already like a percussive. So it just came to me that straight after this melody it would be smart if I put this percussive sample over here. So I'm just gonna rewind it again and listen it again. And in this area over here, I just heard like 2 big drums, like doo-doo. So I'm gonna look for them. I think that Kashmir pack had something like that. I just want to show you because I had this moment of inspiration. So I just want to show you how do I look for them. Samples, Kashmir. Yeah, I closed downloaded all the Kashmir sounds, because I canceled Splice, as I really didn't. Then I had like 5,000 credits, so I was just starting downloading the packs so I can credit, because otherwise all this money will just be wasted. This is the closest one that I had in my mind so far, but I'm gonna try with it, even if it's not the perfect one of what I wanted to do. I'm just gonna close it and mark it, and later on I can find a better sample pack. But while I have this idea, I want to sketch it straight away, and later on I will be able to replace with some other sound. I can open some of the contact banks and look for something much better sounding. But for now, I just want to dumb down. Yeah, no, yeah, something like this. So I'm gonna rewind it and. That is that exactly. Now I'm gonna spend some time in compressing, removing the lows and so on, maybe adding some reverb. Actually, reverb will need to go. Let's say black hole. So the battery has been dead, so I needed to fill up a battery of the camera. So basically I added those two tones as this was the idea in that moment. And this is how I structure. I rewind the track from the beginning. And then when I have an idea, I will drop some of the sounds. If I cannot find exactly the sounds I wanted in that moment, I will just add some type of them. And when I mark it, and when I have all the sketches of the ideas done, then I'll spend one session is making those single shots a bit better. The same is for this distorted sound. I do not like it that much, the sound design and so on. So later on, when I have this minute of the single shots and all the ideas written already, then I will spend some time in layering them, in making them more interesting, or creating or replacing or anything else that will improve the sound of this track. But in this area, in this moment or this part of developing the track, I'm gonna focus only in writing the ideas down. So all of this are the steps or some sessions that will help you in a way. So first, bringing the groove ready, not ready, having enough good sounding drum elements with the bass line with some groove, then adding some of the atmospheres. Then you might get back after the few sessions in adjusting the groove, trying different bass lines, trying different syntheses and so on, find the best possible solution for your track. Then you might come back and layer or replace some of those sounds. Probably a lot of those sounds will have additional. I still didn't start adding the small single shot sounds. Let's say I like to use usually always. I have some of the the bass notes, so I will just go inside the Omnisphere. Okay, I will go to synth bass, shuffle. Let's say, yep. So now I need to release a little bit of lows, but I can mute the delay or just one note, just like so. Let's say. So just adding some small pieces in areas which are dry can just make it sounds a little bit better. Also, this is the first one. That's another one, or this one sounds pretty nice. So down, 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 some small rhythmical stuff. And that way, when I have this minute ready, I'm gonna come back to the beginning and start designing probably after this minute is done with enough of the single shots to cover the whole track to every part of this 1 minute. So sounds interesting. In that moment, I'll probably go back and maybe do the intro, as that way I will have the float of the track. When the track starts to developing to floating, then I will start extending it slowly, one thing by another, and maybe I will add some additional groove elements. This is for a next section, as after 1 minute it's already the part of a track where I want to have some additional groove elements, also some rhythmical part. This can be additional groove element. So let's say. But I won't start the track with it. I'm gonna maybe add it after the 16 bars or 32. It all depends later on. And I will start adding more and more material. And after, I don't know, 2.5 minutes, I'm gonna start maybe making the main theme for a track. Or the main idea is, if this minute is done properly, the track will start telling me and pushing me in the directions where it's gonna go. As if this minute is done correctly, the track will inspire me by itself. This minute will inspire me to do something later on, and then later on the track will just float and start developing much faster. That was it for today. See you soon with another video, and yeah, stay tuned. Bye. Ciao.